Jack here, owner of Hockey Alley, bringing you back hockey history. Stories that forgotten, stories that you haven't heard about, or stories that you remember. Today I have legend NHL referee Wally Harris. This is part 4. How's everything going?
Everything's fine.
That's good. I wanted to talk a little bit about the 67 Leafs, Toronto Maple Leafs. 1967 was the last time they won the cup.
Boy, we're really going back, aren't we?
Yeah. You ref those games?
It's unbelievable one of the old clubs. You go back that far since he's won the damn thing.
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah. Did you remember Bobby Baun playing with a broken leg?
I do. I saw that article on all the comments about him.
Yeah. And
that was interesting.
Yeah. What about guys like Frank Mahovlich? How good was he?
Oh, Frank was he was a big, tall, solid skater. Mm-hmm. I mean, whatever they said about him is true. He was a hell of a hockey player. It's the kind of winger you would like to have on your team.
Yeah. What would you think was the difference that they won it, and since then they haven't been winning? What's going on, you think?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense with some of the teams they've had lately. I mean, 3 years in a row they had, they got that young talent in there, making big money, and all of a sudden they're playing well until they hit the playoffs, and then they're duds.
Yeah. Do you think it's a coaching? It's not guys like, back in the day, Punch Imlach. How was he?
Well, Punch, he ran it the way he wanted to run it. Mm-hmm. He had full reins. I don't know. Well, Punch, he was a different person altogether, but they seemed to play well for him.
Yeah. Do you think today's coaches are controlled by the managers?
Well, somewhat, yes. Mm-hmm. Before you had the old coaches, they've been around a long time, so they ran the show. Where now, I guess you're getting some general managers interfering, and so unless you give full reins to whoever doing your coaching, you ain't gonna look for trouble.
Yeah.
That's why you got scouts and everything else. And,
yeah.
I mean, they're looking for the young great hockey player coming up, and they're the ones that tell the coach and management who the hell they should hire.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Oh, it has. I mean, the whole complex has changed.
Yes. Speaking of Toronto Maple Leafs players, what about Borje Salming?
Well, I think whatever they said about him, he had that value. Mm-hmm. He was a big defenseman, and I think he succeeded on expectations.
Yeah, and Harold Ballard really liked him.
Actually, yeah. Howard, you didn't know who liked it. He's just either making a comment then laughing about it, so you never know what the hell you say.
Yeah. Did you ever talk to Harold Ballard at all? Did you ever run into him?
Oh, I did. I'll tell you a funny story. It was Atlanta when they were in the league. I made to do a hockey game, and I went for a walk downtown, and of course they were playing Toronto, and I'm walking. There's a new construction on the corner, so I see two guys with their head in a hole. You know these holes they put in so you could look?
Yeah.
And both of these guys got their head through there, and they're looking. It didn't. So I went up behind them and pinched their ass, and I said, "What are we doing here?" And they turned around. They both hit their head trying to get out of there. And of course, they sure told me a few words. But we had a good discussion. I said, "What are you? You're like two kids looking at a construction through a loophole." So there was some funny, some funny instances with him. But some of the ways he acted in front of people, or what they called him, it was a different story.
Yeah.
I think I'll tell you what. he wouldn't have got away with that stuff under the new management now with Bettman.
Oh, so back then it was different.
Yes. I read today they're concerned about what is said by who, and which is right. You can't insult people on TV and interviews. I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. I mean, all you're doing is you're insulting yourself. You belong to this league.
Yes, true. Yeah. So you were telling me the other day that you used to talk to the goalies, like when there was a whistle, and
Yeah, I always talk. If the face-off I was in their corner, I'd stand there and talk to them all the time.
what do you guys
We
talk
had
about?
conversations going on.
About the game or off ice stuff?
No, about anything that came up or something. We'd kid each other at times. I might say, you see the second row there, the girl in the second row. Maybe that's why you missed. Maybe that's why you missed the puck.
Did any of them were quiet? Any of the goalies didn't want to talk to you? Did they ignore you? Any of them or no?
No, well, you get to know the ones that you could talk to, and the ones that that are so concerned and seriously refrain from saying anything. So the individual is different, and especially in goaltenders. I mean, it's like Mutt and Jeff. I mean, they're completely different.
What about like did they ever blame you for a goal after like distracting them, talking to them? Did they ever come up and say anything or no? Did that ever happen?
Oh yeah. I mean, the goaltenders.
Yeah.
I had Gump Worsley chasing me to center ice. And he's a good friend of mine, and chasing me, and he's ranting, raving. And I said, "Shut up!" I said, "You're on TV. You're making an ass of yourself." And he said, they kept arguing, but he was wrong to start with because my call was right. So.
Did you ever throw any goalies out of the game?
No.
Never.
I have not thrown the goalie out of the game.
No. What about like Jerry Cheevers? Did you ever deal with him from Boston Bruins?
Yeah, Jerry and I used to get along well. I mean, he would complain about everything, but we were like two sailors on the boardwalk. I mean, we'd go at each other, but we still got along well.
This kind of reminds me in baseball, the umpire and the catcher just talking probably. So it's almost the same thing. It's a long season. You got to make it fun.
That's just it. Some people don't realize that. You relax that makes him relax. You're relaxed.
Did any coaches ever tell you, "Hey, don't talk to my goalie," or that never happened?
No, they never said anything.
Oh, that's cool.
Of course, they're too bloody far away to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's a lot of great stories you have. And how about like Jacques Plante? Did you ever talk to him much, or was he?
I did,
quiet?
but he was a quiet one. He was a quiet individual, and he would say a few words back and forth. Or I kidded him when I was there the first day he wore the mask, and I came out and I said, "Is this Halloween?" And he looks at me. I said, "What's this? Something new?" So we had a conversation on that, but I didn't blame him. I said the way those shots were coming now at people's heads. I mean, the goaltenders, nobody had a mask on, and I don't know why we didn't kill a few of them.
Yeah. Did you ever? Did the players ever complain, or not complain, make fun of the guys who were starting to wear helmets? Did that ever happen, or no?
No, I don't think there's some people were definitely not going to wear one, which was crazy. Because the way this game's gone, I mean, we got everything going, and the hitting's getting to be higher and rougher, and I said, this is crazy. I mean, we're not covering the head. The worst part of it is even when you get in a fight or a pushing match, the pushback, usually somebody's behind you. The guy falls off. He's hitting the back of his head all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking for trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the cause of the nuts we had in the league.
Was there any other players that played similar to Gordie Howe?
The good part about Gordie, Gordie didn't look for trouble. And he didn't do anything in the open. I mean, he'd wait if he's in a corner and he got taken out, and on the way out, you better look back as a referee, because that's when he'll hit him. He's not stupid. And he didn't fight. He just, he was slapped with that stick of his. I mean, if you did something to him, you're going to get it back. But he never argued on a penalty. You give him a penalty, he'd never argue. Mm-hmm. He knew, he said, I got caught this time, that's fine. But no, he wasn't dirty in that respect. He was basically, and somebody did something to him, where other people would go up and start punching and throwing punches, but he never did. He would, just when nobody was looking, he'd give you the stick. So when you refereed, you made sure when he was taken off in the corner, you better constantly look and see what the retaliation is going to be. Mm-hmm. But never argue. You give him a penalty, never argue.
Was there any players that played similar to him, to his style?
Well, there were some dirty hockey players, but no, not like him.
Not like him. So he was one of a kind. Was he? Were they fearing of him, like scared of him?
Well, you knew if you're going to take him out dirty, you're going to get something back.
Did you ever let that go when that happened, or no?
All the times I've let the thing go for reasons, but you should. If something's serious, you better call it. If it's not that serious, you can just say next time you're going to give them a warning.
Yeah.
You got to get along with the guys out there too, because you're whacking them with penalties when they're not behaving.
Yeah. The biggest thing I have complaint is, like, for kids hockey, when the ref calls a penalty and the kid says what it's for, and the ref doesn't ever explain it to the kid, and then the kids don't learn what they did wrong. What do you think of that?
Well, they should. That's why, the referee gets the signal. If he's giving an elbow, he hits his elbow, or eye sticking him, and you have to have the signal from the official. I know what you're talking about. You can't just say, what did I do? Well, the first thing that comes out of the kid's mouth is, what did I do? Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't even realize what he did sometimes. But no, you should. Just say you got 2 for hooking, you got 2 for slashing, and it's done at the pro level, so at the lesser level, you got to realize your young referees haven't got confidence in themselves yet.
Yeah.
So, they're interested in giving the penalty, and they're a little excited themselves. They forget to give a signal, but that is something that is serious. They should be done.
What do you think of the 4 referees on the ice in the NHL today?
Don't like it.
Me either.
To start with, referee, I didn't want anybody else to trying to help me. And it's only confusing. You see them too when something happens at the net. Now you got 2 guys. They're talking to each other about what did you see, what did you see. Bullshit. Just look straight ahead. Look, if the camera's in front of you, you got a guy upstairs that you can go up to and ask him. Make a decision. But it never fails. All of a sudden, you got 2 guys taking off their helmets so they can hear the mic. And it's just it delays everything.
Yeah.
I don't understand. They had this game so fast that they're putting another referee on. Well, that's not helping anything.
No.
A good referee can handle a game by himself.
Yeah. The policeman of the game, they call him.
That's right.
Yeah. I just believe the same as you, and I think there's too many people on the ice. With one more ref, there's. Well,
the ice is small. We didn't enlarge the ice.
Yeah.
And now you're getting confusing in the corner. The referee that's in that corner, because he's there ahead of the play now, because we got somebody with a 60-yard start, and he's dodging, trying to hold on to the puck until somebody else comes in to play.
Yeah.
So it's great if it winds up that pass gives a breakaway. Well, that's just one of those things that's happened, but it's never the case. He usually gets the puck and he's 1 foot ahead of somebody, and then it's a race to the corner.
So I want to ask you, Wally. So you've been reffing longer than any other referee in the history of the game.
That's
Now,
right.
yes. Now, do they ever listen to you when you bring up these subjects, like what your opinion is?
Yeah, they have. Maybe they don't listen enough. I don't know.
So going back to three referees, that'll never happen, probably.
Well, you mean the two linesmen and the
Yeah,
referee?
yeah,
No. I hope it does, but I don't know. We're not on the big ice. I mean, you're allowing the goaltender to pass the puck over the red line, but he's passing it to somebody that doesn't know what the hell he's going to do up there when he gets the puck because he's got no help.
yeah.
So he's got to hope he can dipsy doodle long enough till somebody gets into play.
So would you add the red line back in for the two line pass, or would you keep it the way it is?
No, put it in. I only took it out because of the. I don't know why they took it out.
Speeding up the game, but it's causing
And to
more
speed up the
injuries.
game, but the game is fast enough now with these kids because all these kids can stick handle now.
Yeah,
So they're holding on to the puck much better.
yeah.
But this pass all the way up to the red line, the guy standing there, that means he didn't come back. He didn't back to play defense.
Yeah.
So sometimes it backfires on you.
Yeah. It's too wide open. More injuries
Yeah.
though, more concussions now. And no.
Well, yeah, they're running into each other now.
Yeah.
All these kids can skate,
Yeah.
and they got speed.
Yeah. Equipment's
And
better too.
the equipment is better. I mean, the skate blade is different. The skate blade today cuts in better than they have in the past. The only difference is it stays on top of the ice. It doesn't ding into the ice.
Yeah.
But you got that extra speed with no drag.
Yeah. What did you sharpen your skates at back in the day?
I usually had the team sharpen it for me.
Oh, so the teams did it. So I always wondered
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
I just take over that already. I said that. And give me a sharpened, then bring it back to me.
Is that still the same today, or do the refs have their own machine? The refs.
Well, some take them home. I don't know why, but okay, you can't beat the guy that's doing them for the team.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Because they're using a thinner blade and everything else.
Yeah. So, and the skates were a lot heavier back then. So you did you ever have the ones that I remember seeing the steel toe?
Oh, I know the steel toe. Yeah, that's all we ever had then.
Yeah.
Those days.
People don't know that. So a lot of kids today, growing up, don't know that the skates had a steel toe with a leather cover on the front instead of that plastic.
That's it. That's right. That was a steel toe, and if you got them too short, it bothered your toe. Your big toe used to rub against it. It wasn't that pleasant.
And it's cold. It gets cold because it's metal.
That's it. Yeah, for people playing outside, yeah, it's not fun for your feet.
Yeah. Wow. A lot's changed. The skates are lighter. I mean, the materials are different, and then it makes a difference.
Oh, everything. Yeah. The whole equipment. We used to wear the pants because you could hardly move with the stuff we used to wear. Now everything's made like a thin piece of cotton or something.
Yeah, easy
it's
to
doing the
in.
job. It's like that material you can shoot against that the bullet can't penetrate.
Yeah.
But it's also so damn thin, and I don't know how they make it, but that's the way it is.
I don't know. I had a pair of gloves from the 40s, and I put them on, and I tried to shoot with them. I don't know how you guys can hold a hockey stick to shoot a stick handle, because those things were so heavy, and your hands didn't go all the way around, to hold. The
And
shoe.
he extended about 6, 8 inches up your arm.
Yes. No
I mean,
flexibility.
now you put your hand in a glove, and it gets just to the wrist,
Yeah.
and not past there. Because that's why these kids now have such great shots. I mean, they got more twist to the wrist on a shot.
Flexibility too.
Oh, everything's different.
Yeah. People don't realize that you used to play hockey before you got into reffing. I don't know if people know that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So
I
that's why you
came
know
up
about the
through the
equipment.
Canadians chain. I played all my junior hockey there, and I was supposed to, when I finished when you hit 20, your hockey junior days are over, so I got sent to Buffalo, which Montreal owned that time. And but then I decided there was a chance to get into business because I'd gone through a course 5 years ago through a course. So I went into business, decided to go into business. I said, otherwise unless I'm a rocket reshard, I'm going to be 6 or 7 years in the minors before I get to the National League.
Wow.
So I did some refereeing for the kids. Somebody asked me to do it. I got to like refereeing, and I said, so I played senior hockey and in Montreal, and then I got used to refereeing. Carl Voss asked me would I try refereeing out, and I said, yeah, I was doing the juniors. I said, I'll try it. So I did 3 games, and he asked me to join the club. So that's how I got in there.
Wow.
I came along, I was the oldest then, because I came in, I was 27, going on 28 years old.
Wow. And any advice for any kids that want to be referees? What's the biggest advice you can give them?
Study the rule book. I said, you got times in a panic. I said, you got to come up with a ruling. And I said, you got to know what the hell you're calling and how to go about doing it. You can't be excited. You got to look like you're calm, which is important because you only get them excited if it looks like you're not quite sure of yourself. And so that's the best advice I could give them.
How can they get discovered if they want to be a professional referee, NHL referee? What do they have to
because
do?
we have scouts in every league going.
Okay.
We got scouts looking at them. They're recommended. And that's sometimes when we bring them up and give them a game, see how they do. But that's how we wind up with a staff. I mean, look now, what have we got? About over 100?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I started this game in 27, 28, 58. What the heck were we?
Half?
Wait, we came along and we had 13 of us.
That's it?
We had 8 referees and 5. That was all we had. We had 5 linesmen, and then what we did is we had 3 part-time linesmen, 1 in 3 different cities like New York, Chicago, and Montreal. So on a Saturday night when everybody's playing, we needed that extra 2 linesmen. And so they were part-time men, which were as good as the full-time men. Mm-hmm. But that's how we worked it.
Wow. Not many. It's like less than a hockey team.
That's right. So then we went that way until we had the expansion. But we were busy. Like I went, my first trip, I went for 23 days. Came back for 2, went for 31. Because we had no spares. If somebody got hurt, you guys just had to extend your time on the road because you had to cover games for him. And it was different. It was hectic.
Yeah,
But we cover 3 different leagues: the American League, Central League, and the National Hockey League.
that's a lot. And so if you're scouting a referee, what are you looking for in a ref? It's different than a player, completely different. But what are you looking for?
His judgment.
Okay.
Is he staying up with the play? His judgment. How does he handle it?
Hmm.
Is he relaxed or is he getting excited? And consistency means everything. And that's why we usually have a supervisor at the games.
Yeah.
We have to go down and talk to him after, or sit him down and explain what he did right and wrong, and try and keep the kid to keep his sensibility to him. They get excited at times because you get all of a sudden thousands of people yelling at them, calling them names. You get used to that, but it takes a while to get used to it.
Oh yeah.
Because no one's ever saying nice call all of a sudden. You son of a bitch, what are you doing?
You know what's the most impressive thing, Wally? Back in the day, I saw some highlights of referees in the games. Is they used to get up, climb on the boards. I never see that today.
Oh no! No, we in some places were in the corners at the glass, so
Yeah.
in case you couldn't jump up there.
Yeah.
But before the glass, we used to jump on the board.
Yeah, your feet are on top of the boards.
Yeah, 2 bulldozers coming to hit you or hit another player, and if they missed them, I was too close.
So yeah, that was amazing how you guys climbed up so fast, jumped up right on top of the boards. And
we practiced in the circus. We're monkeys.
Yeah, so I saw that. I was like, wow, I don't see that today. And the referees
No,
don't
I
do
know.
that.
You used to see a guy. Yeah, because sometimes you jump and somebody's coming in to hit. And if you're on the boards, then you gotta grab that glass because you're gonna get creamed and be in the first row.
Yeah, very dangerous time and especially not much padding either on you.
No, those days, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome, Wally. I want to thank you for coming on and talking to me. A lot of great stories. Awesome.
You're quite welcome.
Yeah. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great week. Enjoy your day.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.